Okay, friends, this is day 4 of our reading plan through Daniel, and we're going to be looking at Daniel chapter 3. You're reading the first, 15 verses or so, and we're going to cover today just a little bit more than that. And then the rest of it, really, a lot of it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of self-explanatory. So tomorrow what we're going to do is maybe touch on that a little bit, but also really kind of recap the week and talk about how all of this stuff fits together. So for today, we are going to read the first part of Daniel chapter 3. To set this up, sometimes somebody says something that plays a role in how history unfolds, right? Sometimes somebody says something that profound, 7 years ago. Or I have a dream that one day my children will be judged not by the color of their skin, by the content of their character. Sometimes people say things so profound that it changes the course of history. The speech that we're going to look at today is just 2 lines, is that kind of speech. I mean, it is that profound. And yet, it is often greatly misunderstood. So that's where we're going to end today, is a little speech that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego give. And we're going to look at it through a fresh lens. Okay. Chapter 3, verse 1. King Nebuchadnezzar, we know all about him at this point, made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits and its breadth 6 cubits. He set it up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. We don't know what it was an image of. Many people have speculated that it's an image of Nebuchadnezzar himself, but we don't know. So it's some kind of golden image. Then King Nebuchadnezzar sent to gather the satraps, the prefects, the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the justices, the magistrates, and all the officials of the province to come to the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then the satraps, the prefects, the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the justices, the magistrates, and all the officials of the provinces gathered for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And they stood before the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And the herald proclaimed aloud, "You are commanded, O peoples, nations, and languages, that when you hear the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, harp, bagpipe, and every kind of music, you are to fall down and worship the golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. And whoever does not fall down and worship shall immediately be cast into a burning, fiery furnace." That's the consequence, a burning, fiery furnace. Therefore, as soon as all the peoples heard the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, harp, bagpipe, and every kind of music, all the peoples, nations, and languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. What do you notice about this so far? Do you notice all the repetition? I mean, twice all of the hierarchy of Babylon is listed. Twice, or maybe 3 times even, at least twice, all of these musical instruments are listed. Over and over again, it talks about the golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Well, the suggestion here is, and I think that it is a smart one, is that what the author is doing is poking fun at the ridiculousness of Babylon. All of these officials, all this hierarchy, all of these musical instruments, this image that King Nebuchadnezzar, this golden one, has set up, is almost like poking fun at like the comical, ridiculous nature of this kingdom, and at the center of it now this image that this man Nebuchadnezzar has made. And you'll continue to read, and we'll read part of it, you'll read more of it, the same kind of repetition. It just makes you think this whole thing just seems so silly. One thing I didn't mention that I'm just realizing that I should have mentioned yesterday is that Daniel is the only book in the Bible where a large portion of it is written in Aramaic. So it starts in Hebrew and it ends in Hebrew, but a big part of it in the middle is written in Aramaic. Most of you not super interested in that, but it is just an interesting little fact. And we may later talk about some of the reasons why that likely is. There's some pretty cool speculation about why that is, but we are in the Aramaic portion of it now. Okay. Now back to what most of you are concerned about. Verse 8. Therefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came forward and maliciously accused the Jews. They declared to King Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. You, O king, have made a decree that every man who hears the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, harp, bagpipe, and every kind of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoever does not fall down and worship shall be cast into a burning, fiery furnace. There are certain Jews among you whom you have appointed over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, pay no attention to you. They do not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you've set up. I just want you to know, these three that you seem to have such affection for, they're not following the command that you have given to fall down and to worship. One thing going back that I didn't point out earlier is look in verse 7. In verse 6 it says that whoever does not fall down will be burned. So therefore, as soon as all the people heard it, what do? They fell down. So the majority of people are just falling down like sheep. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are not. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in furious rage, commanded that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be brought. So they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar answered and said to them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the golden image that I have set up for you? Now if you are ready, when you hear the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, harp, bagpipe, and every kind of music, to fall down and worship the image that I have made, well and good. If you're ready, good. But if you do not worship, you shall immediately be thrown into a burning, fiery furnace. And who is the God who will deliver you out of my hands? One thing, if you read between the lines here, is obviously Nebuchadnezzar has some kind of affection for these three. We know that not just because of what happens at the end of chapter 1, but if he is spending any time with them, inviting them in, giving them a chance to repent, to turn back towards him, if he is giving them any opportunity to do that, he must have some kind of affection for them. If not, you just say, I don't know those people, just burn them. But he gives them a chance here. And who is the God who will deliver you out of my hands? Look, come on. You talking about your Yahweh here? I mean, the one that I crushed, the one whose city I captured. I have the contents of his temple here in Babylon with me. The stuff I haven't melted down, I can show you over here. You think that God is going to save you? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, and here's the great speech of Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. Look, the others are falling down on their knees at his commands. They're saying, we don't even need to answer you here. Here's the thing. If this be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. Our God Yahweh, you may not have any respect for him, but he can actually save us. And he'll deliver you, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up. Here is the way that I always read this. This translation is actually really good because some of the other translations will actually lead you to believe what I'm about to say. Is the way that I've always read it and the way that most translations translate it is that what is happening here is that they are saying, if God saves us, that's great. And he's able to, and we hope that he will. But if God doesn't save us, then we're still not going to worship your gods, which seems like a pretty silly thing to say, because if he doesn't save us, obviously we won't be worshiping other gods because we'll be what? We'll be dead, right? It seems like a silly thing to say. And remember, this is written in Aramaic, which is a very similar language to Hebrew. But what's happening here can be translated in the way that I just mentioned it, but it can also be translated in the way that what I'm reading out of the ESV is translated. And it's more nuanced. And it seems to actually be saying something different. What it seems to be saying is this: if this be so, as in, if you choose to throw us into the fire, Nebuchadnezzar, our God will save us. But if not, the if not is not if God doesn't save us. The if not is if you don't throw us into the fire. I don't think Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego think he's going to follow through with it. I think they think that he's bluffing. So they're saying, if you throw us in, God will save us. But if you don't throw us in, and then this is so good, but if you don't throw us in, as in if you have favor upon us, if you save our lives, be it known to you, O king, that we will still not serve your gods or worship your silly golden image that you set up. I love this so much. It's so bold. And it's so, I want to say defiant, but I don't mean that in like a silly, like youthful, rebellious kind of way. I mean it in a more steady, sure, strong, like standing up straight with your shoulders back kind of way. Saying, even if you give us the ultimate gift in this life of saving our lives, we will still not bow down and worship your silly image. Everybody else is falling down just because you told them to. You save our lives, and we still don't do it. I love this because what it leaves me asking is, oh man, what are the things in my life that are seeking to buy my allegiance? You know what I mean? I mean, what are the things that are bidding for my loyalty? What are the things that are saying, look, you just worship me, or you worship this thing, you give your life over to this, you build your life around this thing, and I'll give you whatever that false promise is. What are the things in this life? I mean, look at I harp on this a lot, but it's true. Our secular world in general, whose philosophies are propagated by everything from certain politicians to most Hollywood movies to just about everything that you see out of many of like the intellectual elites of our society. What is this secular worldview telling us? It is telling us that if you build your life around yourself, that you'll feel fulfilled. That all there is to this world is what you can see, taste, touch, feel, and hear. You move beyond this old, like hokey religions. You move beyond that kind of superstition and you'll find fulfillment. You give us your money. These are the companies. You give us your attention. These are the social media companies. You give us this and we will give you that. He's seeking to buy their allegiance by having mercy on them. And they say, even if you give us mercy, we won't bow down and worship you or your silly image. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And it makes me want to stand strong in the face of all of these things that want my allegiance and say, there's only one, I'm taking option 3. There's only one thing that gets my allegiance. I don't know if you're getting as fired up as I am, but I think that's what's going on here. Okay, read the rest of the chapter. I think the rest of it's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty amazing. You find out there's another one in the fire with them, right? That's like the famous line. There's another one in the fire with them. God indeed responds to their faithfulness by being faithful to them. So God bless you, friends. Keep with your reading and pull back the veil on the things in your life that are making false promises, saying, look, if you give us this, we'll give you that. Most of it's a facade. It's a charade. Option 3, walking in the way of Jesus, remaining faithful. That's the way that leads to the abundant life that we're all looking for. God bless you, friends. Keep with the reading, and I'll see you soon.